I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network, and this is a breaking news alert. Over 59 pages of text messages from former Georgia MAGA Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler has leaked to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. These text messages all relate to her communications leading up to the insurrection following Joe Biden being declared the winner of the 2020 election. These text messages contain some bombshells and demonstrate the lengths to which MAGA Republican extremist leaders went to overthrow our free and fair elections. We have new insight into planning meetings that took place at the White House that I haven't seen reported anywhere before, that was being organized by Marjorie Taylor Greene and others. We have text messages from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Kelly Loeffler, and we see the pressure campaign that was taking place where these MAGA Republican loyalists of Trump were applying pressure effectively on Kelly Loeffler, and they eventually got her to make public statements. She was afraid she was going to be booed by Donald Trump at a rally before her special election was set to take place on January 5th, 2021. So she had to make an agreement that she was going to publicly state that she would object to the results of the November 2020 election in exchange for Trump doing a rally, and that she would not get booed. Ultimately, Kelly Loeffler, following the insurrection, did not object. She just decided that she wasn't going to object. But the text messages also reveal people like Ted Cruz were still trying to pressure her, even during the insurrection and after, to continue to try to object and to stop the counting of the electors. I want to go right into these text messages. And first, let's start off with a text message sent by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene that the Atlanta Journal-Constitution got. This is from December 2nd, 2020, and Marjorie Taylor Greene states, "Hey, I need to talk with you about a plan we are developing on how to vote on the Electoral College votes on January 6th. I need a senator, and I think this is a major help for you to win on the 5th, for you to win in your special election against Raphael Warnock on the 5th. And at this point in time, too, Marjorie Taylor Greene had just won her seat in the November election after a Republican in her congressional district had retired. And here you have basically a Congress member-elect already asserting this role of coordinating the plan with Donald Trump relating to the insurrection and to overthrow our free and fair elections. That message is from December 2nd, 2020. And then about 3 weeks later or so, on December 20th, 2020, here's another text from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Kelly Loeffler. "Hi, Kelly. I've organized a meeting with President Trump, his legal team, and members of Electoral College votes for Joe Biden in several key states on January 6th. It's tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Can you come to the White House? It's an informational meeting and planning session." Now, I haven't seen this text message before at all, but here we have a direct communication relating to a meeting with President Trump, his legal team, and members of Electoral College votes. What I believe she's referring to there, and what others believe she's referring to there, are the fake slate of electors and the fake elector scheme whereby Donald Trump, through his emissaries and loyalists, tried to recruit and did in fact recruit individuals who nominated themselves to become the electors in place of the actual electors in the state who were voting for Joe Biden because Biden won that state. And these fake electors were submitted in slates to be counted, and the ultimate plan was for Vice President Pence to accept the objections of the real electors for Biden and in their place say, oh, look, we've got this fake elector slate that came my way. It looks like Donald Trump won the election by counting the fraudulent electors and not the real electors. But this message very specifically ties Donald Trump to it. We're meeting with Trump, the legal team, and those electors. Can you come to this meeting? And then Kelly Loeffler states, I'm with Ivanka all day Monday, subject to the time of vote on relief package, but I've said everything is on the table with regard to January 6th. And this was one of my big issues always with the Kelly Loeffler campaign, Kelly Loeffler generally, is that she was ultimately in addition to just being a radical extremist, she was just genuinely so inauthentic. She would do anything for power and proximity to power. And here you see her just trying to hedge and say, I've said everything's on the table regarding January 6th. I mean, she was ultimately just so trying to calculate her own power, didn't care about her constituents, and was willing to do anything and sacrifice her and her family's entire reputation eventually to basically support Donald Trump's attempt to overthrow our democracy. And then at the very end, during the insurrection, after saying she was going to support Trump's attempts to overthrow our democracy, when then she believed, well, now because of the insurrection, it was going to hurt her reputation, she ultimately did not go through with the objections that she said she was going to make, and then said, no, I'm not going to do that at this point, after standing on stage with Trump and basically, being afraid that she was going to be booed or whatever. We've got a number of other text message here that I think are important to read. Here we have United States Representative Jody Hice, and in this message from Jody Hice from Greensboro, Hice writes, Kelly, I wanted to give you the heads up. This is from December 17, 2020. I wanted to give you the heads up that I will be contesting the electoral votes on January 6th. Wanted to check with you about doing the same in the Senate. I know you've had people ask. I was wondering if you have made a decision. I understand there is at least another senator willing to do so, but I wanted to work with you if you are planning on it. Please let me know. Thank you, Jody. I mean, again, all at the service of Donald Trump's unlawful efforts to overthrow our free and fair elections and to stop the peaceful transition of power. Another very interesting text message that I thought is worth sharing is a message from Brad Raffensperger's wife. And Brad Raffensperger's wife, Tricia Raffensperger, who, by the way, everyone says has a reputation of just being a very nice person, very even-tempered, after the November 2020 election, one of the things that Kelly Loeffler did to try to support Donald Trump was to demand that Brad Raffensperger, without reason, without evidence, that Brad Raffensperger denied. Remember Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State of Georgia, who confirmed that the election was a safe election, that there was no fraud that could ever overturn the results of the election, that it was the most safe and secure election in Georgia's history. And because he told the truth, Donald Trump basically had all the MAGA extremists threaten to kill Brad Raffensperger. Donald Trump tried to extort Brad Raffensperger. He threatened Brad Raffensperger with criminal prosecution in that phone call about find me the votes, and would basically tweet out and post out, because he still had Twitter then, and post out all of these messages to basically get people to threaten Brad Raffensperger and his family's life. And then Kelly Loeffler said that, she supported those accusations against Brad Raffensperger. They were both Republicans. And Tricia Raffensperger text messaged Loeffler, who never responded, as far as we know, and said, Tricia Raffensperger said, "This is Tricia Raffensperger. I met you at the Christmas party in Washington, D.C. Never did I think you were the kind of person to unleash such hate and fury on someone in the political office of the same party. My family and I am being personally besieged by people threatening our lives because you didn't have the decency or good manners to come and talk to my husband with any questions you may have had. Instead, you have put us in the eye of the storm. Unlike you, my husband is an honorable man with integrity to do the right thing. We are law-abiding people of faith. I hold you personally responsible for anything that happens to any of my family, from my husband, children, and grandchildren. What kind of person are you that would purposefully do this? I am so disappointed. I thought you were better than that. You do not deserve to be in elected office. You are not worthy of the high calling of that position. And this was sent on November 9th, 2020, after Kelly Loeffler said that Brad Raffensperger should resign immediately, and that she promoted the conspiracies that Donald Trump was saying about Brad Raffensperger. Ultimately, with all these individuals who were pressuring Kelly Loeffler, she gave into the pressure right before the January 5th runoff. She indeed held a rally. At the same time she was holding this rally with Donald Trump, or Trump held a rally, made her stand up on stage and tell the crowd that she was objecting on his behalf. Before she went on stage, she told her aides, one of the guys was Stevie Lawson, or whatever the guy's name is, and someone else, that please let Trump know, please tell Trump that I'm going to announce that I will be objecting. I don't want the crowd to boo me. I don't want the crowd to boo me. They're willing to just destroy our democracy because they're worried about getting booed by a radical extremist crowd of MAGA cultists. I mean, how pathetic is that? But right around she was going to give the speech, she gets a message from U.S. Representative Rick Allen. And Rick Allen says the following. He's from Evans. He goes, I think many of the Trump voters in the sideline will be watching tonight, and we need a big turnout in North Georgia on Election Day. You might consider an announcement when you speak tonight that you are going to stand up and object to the Georgia electors on behalf of all Georgians who voted legally. That's what they're saying in text messages. I mean, these people are, truly beneath contempt. And so she does go on stage, Loeffler, with Trump. She says she's going to object. Her plan was to object. Then you have the insurrection happens. While the insurrection is actually taking place, and during the insurrection, you still have Ted Cruz and others pressuring her to continue to hold strong and to make sure she objects. Try to hold other Republicans together following the insurrection to continue to object. And ultimately, she was persuaded by one of the people who worked for her. I believe it was an aide by the name of Paul Fitzpatrick, told her that she and her husband could face, quote, this is in a text, it's all in messages, long-term reputational risk for a vote defending Trump in light of the insurrection. And so she ultimately did not object to the electoral college results. And there you have it. I mean, those text messages are some bombshell text messages. A tip of the hat to Greg Bluestein, Tamar Hallerman, David Wickert at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution for getting their hands on these records. Again, they stated they have no clue how they got these records. Someone sent them the records. It came to them similar to with the cover sheet that you would get with a deposition subpoena of records, but they don't know who the source is of it. They've called a lot of the recipients who confirmed the accuracy of these messages. And you could check out the full article written by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And by the way, they do really, really great work. And I followed Greg Bluestein on Twitter, his election commentary, even fair, truthfully fair and balanced, and appreciated his reporting. But you could check out the article at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution called Texts from Loeffler's Phone Shed Light on Activities of January 6th and 2021 Runoff. Everybody check that out. For now, I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hey, hit the subscribe button right now. We are on our way to 1 million subscribers. Thanks to you. Hit the subscribe button right now. And in addition to 1 million subscribers, if you want to help grow this independent media platform, I always get asked by people in DMs and other things, How can I help grow this, Ben? I want to help grow this platform. Well, no matter where you are in the world, if you want to help out, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. patreon.com/MeidasTouch. There are different membership packages there that you can join with exclusive behind the scenes footage and Q&As with me and my brothers. And some of the tiers you get postcards from me and my brothers. In one tier you could become an honorary producer of our podcast, and your name appears at the end of the podcast, and you'll get a poster commemorating your status as an honorary producer. A number of other exclusive benefits, but to me, most importantly, and for the community, it helps grow this independent media platform because we're not funded by any outside investors at all. All of our competition, if you will, that both sides issues or the radical fascist media out there, they're funded by billions and billions of dollars. We're not funded by any outside investment at all. We're fueled by democracy, and we're powered by you. So you have the power to help grow not just a network. We're not just a sterile network. This is a community that you are an integral member of. So help grow this. Go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. It really, really would be helpful. So if you can go there and sign up for one of the membership packages, it means a lot and goes a long way. And it's a real way you can help grow this. So I'd really appreciate that. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs, It Wasn't Rigged, You're Just a Loser, at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.